Hello and welcome to this mini tutorial where we're going to break down and build back up the pronunciation of the word gesture in English. Now there are a couple of little tips I'll give you towards the end about errors that I've commonly heard, so things you can try to avoid, and there's also a sort of personal observation that I'll share with you about this word. But first let's have a look at the script. So what we can see here, that blue dot in the centre tells us that we're dividing the word into two syllables, and that the strongest syllable, the stress of this word, is at the beginning. So that's gesture. Jess. So Jess gets your stress. Stress the Jess. So thinking about that first syllable then, we've got a j sound, like at the beginning of the word jump. Then we've got the short e, so an e, je, finishing with a s, the hissed s, so Jess, Jess, which if it was spelt Jess would be a girl's name in English, so Jess. Then we've got that second syllable, which I think is a little trickier. So we've got the ch sound, like at the beginning of the word church. We've got a schwa, and then that little linking r, which would activate depending on what comes next. So this second syllable would be ch, and followed by a vowel, ch, and then r would come in, like, I don't know, the gesture is friendly, for example. It's a bit of a weird sentence, but so if the next word began with a vowel, the R would activate and it would become a linking R. So thinking about that second syllable then, ch or chur, depending on what's next. So that's the formation of the word. So let's have a look, thinking about it as a whole. So repeat after me, stressing that first syllable, gesture. One more time, gesture. Now we're going to go back to the orthography, the way it's written, just for a moment to think about a few little tips. So this is how we write the word, and thinking back to the script we looked at a moment ago, there are several kind of confusions that occur. So the first thing is with the beginning of the word. Remember, it's a j, gesture. So j, but if you weren't familiar with this word, you might look at it and potentially want to say g. So I've heard guess instead of jess. So that's the first thing. It's not a g, it's a j. And at the end of the word, it's not uncommon for people to want to overpronounce vowels towards the end. So making too much out of that u, or even trying to pronounce the e at the end, for example. Remember, we had the schwa, so gesture, ch, we've got the weak schwa, and we're not pronouncing an e at the end, so it's not gesturi, for example. I'm hoping none of you have ever pronounced it that way, but you could be forgiven for having done so if you have. So it's gesture. And a fun little observation, I think that probably, I'm just guessing, but maybe 50% of the time, I personally pronounce this word slightly differently to the dictionary standard. So today we've looked at the dictionary standard, gesture, with that ch, which is unvoiced. But I'm fairly certain that when I'm not thinking about it, I would very easily voice the second syllable. So instead of saying gesture, I probably quite often say gesture with voicing. I can't decide whether that is just a personal nuance or whether that's perhaps something to do with where I was born and raised. I'm not entirely sure. But when I was preparing these slides, I noticed for the first time ever the difference between my habit and what's in the dictionary. So that's a fun thing to notice when you're doing pronunciation work, irrespective of what kind of version of English you're used to. It can be really interesting to just notice what the kind of dictionary standard is telling us to do, and then what your habits are, or the habits of the people that you hear around you speaking English. It's just a fun observation. So your takeaway points for today: it's not a g, it's a j, and don't pronounce that e at the end, and it's not an or a u, it's a schwa. There we go. So one more time for good measure, repeat after me: gesture. Great work. So don't forget to subscribe, like, comment and share. If you've got any difficult words that you want me to cover in an upcoming video, please do leave those in the comments below. I like to take suggestions. And there's the homepage if you want some more materials to work with, not only on your pronunciation, but also there's IELTS preparation too. Thanks for watching and have a lovely day.